Hi, welcome to my full Monty disassembly show. Today's guest is the DERYA TM22 long handguard. Now, if you happen to have the short handguard, that'll work too. I'll just tell you the differences as we go along. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I always start off with the field stripping and then I'll get into the full Monty. And the disassembly of the bolt and the trigger will be combined together in a video at a later date. Now, why don't we go into the alert right off the bat? Now, this rifle, the aluminum receiver, have been sold in Canada for over 2 years, and the problem with the breaking off of the charging handle has been around for over 6 months. So when I disassembled this gun, I was a little surprised that the problem isn't fixed, because it's quite an easy fix. It's a quick fix. So I thought it would have been done at the factory or even at the distributor before it went out to the dealer, but it's not. So let's talk about that right after I do the field stripping. Okay. Now, when it comes to field stripping, you remove these 3 hex screws on the top. Okay, I've loosened them already, so let's start off with that. Okay. Let's move that. There's 3 on top on the rails. Okay. And as soon as you remove the top rail, okay, you have 3 screws that all come off. I'll text the size of the screw in the video. And right after you remove the 3 screws, okay, they're all 3 different sizes. And it's easy to note, the smallest will go in the front where it locks up the handguard. Then the middle one will be the medium size. And the third one will be the longest of the 3. Okay. And then when you do that, this handguard slides out. Very simple. Now, if you happen to have a short handguard, it will also slide out. All right. So in terms of handguard, even though there's a difference between long and short, the disassembly is exactly the same. Now, to remove the bolt, you got to use the same hex wrench, and unloosen this, which I already have. Okay. And then this hex screw is even longer than the one in the back here. Okay, so there's 4 different sizes. Again, we'll text the size and the threading into the video. Now, this is the tiny cocking handle. Okay, once you've done that, you can lift up the entire bolt assembly up. Okay. Now, be careful as you do this, because the spring is under tension and it tends to fly off. So put your hand in the back here, and there it is. And then just lift the entire assembly. All right? I'll show you how to disassemble the bolt later. And here is the problem. The problem is this buffer white plastic in the back. It tends to eventually move backwards, okay, and then when it does that, this charging handle hits the back of this opening and the charging handle breaks off. Now, to make sure if they fix the problem, I have to disassemble the stock, basically the buffer, remove the buffer. Okay, but at this point, you have done your field stripping. All right. Okay. So next is the full Monty disassembly, and I'll start off with the alert, and I'll disassemble the buffer tube. I'll be back. I am back. Now, before I could remove the buffer tube, it's a lot easier if I just remove the stock first. Okay. And to remove the stock, it's pretty simple. Get a punch, and you see this cross pin that moves the locking pin up and down. This is the locking pin. Okay, it goes up and down, and there's a cross pin that connects to the lever. Okay, this is the lever. Okay, so you need to put this, and it doesn't go all the way out. So you need to move that cross pin higher. Okay, and the way to do that is to move this all the way to the back. Okay, and then push down on the locking lever, slide the punch between the locking pin, and then push it back like this. Okay, let me see. First, okay, when you put this on a vise, make sure it's protected, your receiver, by putting leather or something like that. Actually, it's too heavy for me to lift up, so I won't bother. But once you got this punch in position, then it's basically slides out. Here it is. You see, that's how I lift the cross pin. Okay, that locks. And now I'm just going to slide it out, and there it is. All right. So it's a lot easier. Now I can remove the buffer tube, and to do that, here, they provide you with a wrench. Do not use this wrench. Okay. I've tried it and it doesn't fit perfectly. So don't use this. Use the one that they provide you, and it's right here, this castle nut. Okay, and it fits in like this. Okay, like that. I'll actually show you as I'm going along. Now, if you happen to have the other stock, okay, the fixed stock, not the, this is the extendable ones, okay, retractable and extendable ones. But if you happen to have the L-shaped stock that usually come with the short handguard, then the removing of the tube is the entire one piece. Okay, so the removing of the castle nut and the tube is exactly the same. Okay, except you don't obviously have this stock. It's an L-shaped stock. But anyway, you have to put this into the three cuts that's here, which I'll show you later, and turn, obviously, counterclockwise. Okay, keep turning till the swivel plate moves back. Okay, so this swivel plate moves back, straight back like this. If you see this screw here, slotted screw, do not touch that. Okay, that should slide out completely straight. Then grab your L-shaped stock, or in this case the buffer tube, and start turning counterclockwise. Now, I did this 2 days ago, and I was surprised that the fix was not done. And then this is the buffer tube. It's basically hollow. Okay, there's nothing in there. And if you were a lefty, of course, you would change the swivel to the right side, right? Or you can switch it whatever you like. But that's basically it. This is the castle nut. Okay. Now, if you see, the castle nut has slots or cutouts, and there's 3 protruding, and they just go right in like this. Okay, as a perfect fit. Okay. Okay. So your tube is out. Now I want to show you what I saw basically 2 days ago. I was expecting the breaking of the charging handle would have been fixed by now, and it wasn't. Okay. What I saw is a black rubber inside. and here is the buffer itself, the white buffer. This is where the bolt, the back of the bolt, hits it on a recoil, okay? And it keeps pounding that every time you fire it. So if you can push that out, it's not easy. Okay, I can't push it out, so I need to use a mallet to push it out. Okay, again, now I have to put it in the vise again and make sure it's protected. Otherwise, you're gonna mar up the receiver. Okay. Okay, I got myself a piece of wood, and since you're tightening against the rear trunnion here, it's okay to tighten a little harder than when you're tightening in the middle, okay? So, I got this piece of wood. Make sure it's about 5/8 or 3/4 inch thick. So you have as wide as you can. Place it like this, okay? And you need a mallet to push it down. Yeah, it doesn't come off easily, so you just gently tap it. It's coming down. Oh, here it is. Here comes the rubber. And here comes the buffer itself. Oh, and you see, even when I just to remove it, I got pieces of the rubber falling off. And I'll tell you why the rubber is falling off. Okay, now I can remove the receiver from the vise because I don't need it anymore. And I just want to make some space. Okay, so this goes inside the back of the receiver. This is the rubber pad, okay, that's behind the buffer itself. Now, then you screw in the stock and it butt up against the rubber pad. Now, here is the problem. The shape of this is tapered, so the front is pretty thin, okay, probably about 1 millimeter. So when the buffer keeps pushing against the rubber pad, which is against this, obviously, as you can tell, you can even see I haven't fired this gun yet, just tightening the buffer tube onto the rubber. Pieces of rubber is already starting to come off. You see that here? See, they already start to come off. Why? It's because the tube is right on the edge of the rubber. And after, I would say, maybe some firing, this rubber will, well, basically the outside will be all frayed and it'll be inside the tube, okay? It'll just be disintegrated. And then this will be behind here, okay? And then after constant pounding, this will start to break too. So the bolt was designed not to be reaching this far. Okay, as you can tell, when it reaches right to the end, it's gonna touch the back of this opening. And that's what I was surprised about. This problem's been well known for well over 6 months. This rifle I bought brand new a week and a half ago, and it's not fixed. It's a very simple fix. So what should you do? Well, if you're in Canada, The company that handles the warranty is called Odell Engineering. Okay, I just text them or email them, and what they're going to do is they're going to send you a metal disc. And what the metal disc is going to do is that it's going to go behind here. So in other words, between the rubber pad and this sharp tube, and then it distributes all the pressure on the back of this rubber evenly, and not just the edges, okay? And that's what they're going to do. They'll just send it to you for free, from what I understand. So I already text them. I'm waiting for a reply. Now, if you can't wait for them to send you a disc, you can do it yourself. Now, I heard people are using loonies for that, okay? And yeah, it'll work because it's the same size as the disc, as the rubber pad. That'll work. Unfortunately, I wouldn't recommend it. It's because its thickness is 1.9 millimeter. And that's a bit too thick. What I did is went to my local hardware store, and I bought this washer for 46 cents, and the part number is 2643, okay? And that's 46 cents, so why should I tie up a whole loonie when I can get one for 46 cents? And it already tested it, and I can see the scrape marks by the tube, and it is on it, okay? It's at the bottom here, but the majority is on the washer. So it will absorb all the pressure. So yes, so that's what you should do if you're waiting for the metal disc from the warranty company. Now, I don't know what you do if you're in the States, okay? What I would suggest, you contact the dealer you bought the gun from and ask them where you're going to get the metal disc. But trust me, this is a flaw in their design. Eventually, that will crumble. This will end up into your tube, and then they start pounding on the back of this, and that is going to start to break. Of course, it's going to break your charging handle eventually. That will happen for certain. Okay, I'm surprised they just didn't fix it. It's such a simple fix. They could have done that at the distributor before they sent it to the dealer, but they haven't. They could have done that at the factory in Turkey, but they haven't. So that is the alert. Okay, now let's carry on with the remainder of the full Monty. Once you've done that, okay, so this one just comes right off. Okay, and there's nothing more you can do with the tube. Okay, that's the castle nut. Okay, there's this one. You don't need to remove that, although you can. You don't need to remove it. And this is the 5 position the stock goes into. Okay, let's begin with disassembly of this stock. I like the stock because it has a riser. I like the design, and the first thing you do is remove the riser. Okay, and you take the big, I guess it's a nut, and you just unscrew it like that. Okay, that comes off. Push the screw all the way to the other side, and then this is what it looks like. And the cheek rest will just come straight up like this. Now, yes, you can use the stock without the cheek rest if you don't like the cheek rest, or you don't need the cheek rest. And if you're going to do that, you should also might as well remove the other piece here, and that's also very simple. It uses the same Allen wrench as for that. So just continue Well, it's right here. It's on the right side. Just continue unscrewing it. Okay, so it's two-piece. This is on the right side, and it's a very long screw. I will text the size of the screw and the threading. Probably same 0.7, but yeah, it's longer than the charging handle screw, and this is on the left side. Okay, and what are the difference between left and right? Okay, it looks like the right side has more of this, I guess, these indents, and the left side has a fewer, and that seemed to be the only difference. There's also a nut that comes out, so put them together so they don't get lost. Okay, that's how it is. Now, let's remove the butt pad. It's simple. You need a Phillips screw, unscrew it. It looks like a 1-inch drywall screw, and the butt pad comes out. Okay, very simple. Hollow tube. Okay. Oh, one more thing. I'm going to show you how to remove this lever, and it's very simple. First, you need to remove the pressure from the cross pin, and that's the same thing as what I showed you before. You slide this in and just take the pressure off. Okay, like that. That's what I did. Now, reach in the back of this, it's a pivoting section, and you just basically lift it up. Okay, it's plastic, so don't overdo it. You see, just push that out like that, and push that. If you break it, you need to have this replaced. Okay, so you just basically pull this down, and the locking lever comes off, and this is how I remove the pressure of the spring. Here's a cross pin. You could, if something happens here, you could remove this, but I'm not going to, because there's obviously a lot of pressure in that. And once you've done that, you can, okay, so you can do that. So we're done with that. Okay, next thing to remove is the grip. Again, you need a Phillips. Would be the same size as the one for the butt plate. I already loosened it up, loosened it a bit, and it's a different screw. It's not the same screw that's in the butt rubber butt pad. Okay, and there is a plug. The reason why I say it's a plug, because it does not fall off easily, and I need something to pry it out. And what I need is a knife. I had one over here. I don't know where I put it, but I got, oh, here it is. Okay, so you're just gonna take this and just pry it out. That's it. There's no other way to remove it. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now take that screw, oh, not that screw, it's this screw. Okay, I want to show you the difference between a butt pad screw and the grip screw. The threading is quite different, and the head's also different. This looks more like a drywall. So you put that here, take that, put that here. Oops. Like that. And now you have to remove the screw for the grip. And you need a long Allen wrench. Okay. stick that in there and turn. Of course, I already have loosened it, so I won't struggle in front of the camera. Okay, so that's the grip, and has the bolt. It's an hex screw bolt. Has a washer and a locking washer. Okay, got lots of teeth on it. So that goes here. Okay, now and then there's this screw in the back. Now, the reason why you don't turn this when you're trying to remove the swivel plate, because there's a couple of notches. I don't know if you can see notches in the top and the bottom. You can see that, and it has a matching cut on the screw, top and bottom. Okay, and let me remove that. At this point, I don't know what it is for, but this is what it looks like. I would suspect it's probably for the hammer or something. Nope, not for the hammer. But okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, I will just put that back later. That should be part of the I guess the firing control video, but since it's connected to the swivel, okay, I did it now. Now the thread protector, it just unscrews. Now if you watch my review show, I put an A2 bird cage on here, so it is 1/2 by 28. Okay, so that's it. To remove the spacer on your handguard, regardless whether it's a long handguard or a short handguard, it would be exactly the same. Okay, and it's a plastic spacer. You put your finger in there and pull on it. Okay, actually lay it down and pull on it, and then use the same Allen wrench they provide you and press on in that hole, because there's a you'll see it once go like that, and put pressure pulling it out like that, and just go rotate it around. Like that. Okay. And then you just slip it out. There's no particular direction. See, these are the clip that goes in and holds it in. Okay, that's basically in. And obviously to put it back, you just slip it back down. Make sure you line them up properly, like that, and push that in, and just push it in. That's it. Now to remove this, I prefer to have this on a vise, okay, because I have not removed it before, so I don't know how much torque it has. So always protect and try, the strength is around where the magazine is, so try to put it there. Protect it, make sure you're protected well. Alright, so let me move that in. Can you see? I guess you cannot see. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. Let me slide this a little further. Yeah, like that. Okay. Now using the same castle nut wrench that they provide you, unscrew the, I guess it's the collar for the barrel. Okay, now go like that. I will show you afterwards. And then, okay, it doesn't come off easily, so I need to tap it with the mallet. Okay. Okay, so you would, here I can actually hand loosen it now. Let me remove this vise. Again, lefty loosey, so you're trying to loosen it. And this is the barrel collar. Keep turning it to the left, and then it comes out. Okay. I want to show you how the wrench goes in. There's 4 cutouts, and the wrench fits in perfectly. Okay. On 3 sides. Don't use. I tried using this. It's not a perfect fit. So use this. Okay. And you need a mallet. Okay, once you get to this point, you basically pull out. Okay, it's not coming out, so I think I need to use a mallet and tap it out. Okay, so here it is. It's coming out. Tap it gently. Use a mallet. See, it's now come out. Still won't come out. Okay, it's out. Now to put it back, it's very simple because it has a round piece here, and it fits into the bottom of the receiver, the barrel block. Okay, it goes right in there. So there's only one way to put it in, and that is basically that round piece goes to the bottom. Okay, so that's pretty simple. I'll show you what the barrel looks like. Okay. After you do the disassembly, take the opportunity to oil it. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of oil other than here. There's not a whole lot of oil. Okay, and you're also checking, looking down the bore. It's a nice heavy, for 22, it's a nice heavy barrel, but always check down the bore that there's nothing obstructing the path, and it isn't. Also check the ramp to make sure there's no, that it's nice and smooth, and it is. So that's fine. So that's not a problem. At this point, it's all done. Okay. Now I'm not finished because I think this alert needs, I need to show you how to put this back together, especially with this disc, so you don't have any issues. Okay. Let's begin. Oh, I want to show you what the inside looks like. Okay. Okay. This goes in. And that's, it protrudes about 1/8 of an inch. Okay. And like I said, once this rubber pad get destroyed, and you can see it's so close to the edge, and you can also see the damage already caused by this basically sharp front end of the tube. It follows in here. Okay. Now the reason, like I suggested, not to use a loonie, although you can, it fits in there perfectly, is just that the width of the loonie measures 1.9 millimeter, and it takes away from your threading. So if I did that, I mean it'll work. If I did that, I want to show you what it looks like. If I did that, watch this. Now I'm perfectly tight. You see where that's supposed to be at the bottom, and it's not, right? Because it's a bit too thick, the loonie. And therefore you have to back it off, like to here, right? And you're using less thread. That's why I suggest you don't use this. Use whatever they send you. Now I suggested you use a disc from your local hardware store. Instead of using a loonie, I suggest use this thin washer. Okay, it measure 1.4. In other words, half a millimeter difference between the loonie and this. And I even installed it once already, and I can see the marks, the cut marks that's left by the front tube on the back of the washer. So I know it is on the washer. Okay. And since it's metal, put it in like that. Oh, I might as well show you how to install it. So I might as well put this back in again. Okay. This goes like that. This goes behind it, like this. And then there is this piece goes behind that. Alright, so let's shove this in with this thin, smaller end sticking out like this. Follow it up by putting the spring. Let me make sure the spring is actually on. Make sure the spring is like this. Like that. You put it back in. Make sure the spring is actually connected to that piece. Slide it in like that. And then take this screw, follow that up. And then start screwing it in. Like that. Okay. Now tighten it to a point and then back it off till the slot is horizontal. Like this. Make sure it's horizontal. Put this back. Slide this. Oh, first put the castle nut. Okay. The castle nut back. All the way to the back, followed by the swivel plate. Okay, there's only one way to put the swivel plate because of that notch. Okay, and there's a groove in the bottom of the tube like this, and okay, so you put this in. I got from the local hardware store for 46 cents while you're waiting for the warranty part to come in. And now you can screw that in. Okay, like that. Okay, so once you get to this point, keep turning, and guess what? I can keep it a snug fit, and it's right closer to the bottom than if you use a loonie. Loonie, you'll be in the side here, okay? As it turned out, I'm snug fit right now, and it is right at the bottom using that washer. And when you have this screw on a horizontal position, the slot, this should fit right over it. And if it's not in the horizontal position, this plate will not fit in there because there's only one way to go, and that slot has to be in the horizontal position. Once you reach that, then you tighten it. Okay, and then of course use the wrench, and it's a righty-tighty. Okay, so there you go. It's all covered. The alert is covered, and that's the full Monty. Oh no, one more thing. I thought I will also show you how to disassemble, which is simple, very simple, is the magazine. Okay, and the reason why I need to show you that, okay, it's like all magazine. You press the button on the bottom and hold it with your thumb, and then push the bottom plate out, and then there is another thing comes out here. Okay, now I'm looking at this spring and I'm very disappointed. It's really cheap, the spring, really weak, not even stainless, I bet you, and I'm kind of rather disappointed. And it's not very big compared to GSG-16. And I wasn't even happy with the GSG-16, but I am happy with the body of the magazine, which is alloy. But that's only comes the 2 magazine is alloy, and the accessories are polymer. Okay, so this goes like this. Okay, the bigger round end goes in the front. There's only one way to go. You can't reverse it. Okay, because it's only one way, and then the magazine fits in like this. Okay, so that's basically it. I hope you found it useful and hopefully entertaining. So please hit the like and subscribe button, and thank you for joining me.